Hey guys, in this video we're going to be going over quite a unique deck. We haven't played with it, however very excited to play with it. It is a Toon slash Fallen of Albaz deck. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to go through the Toon monsters first. So we're going to start with 3 copies of Red Eyes Toon Dragon. Really good card. When this card is summoned, it allows you to special summon a Toon monster from hand. So things like your Toon Dark Magician or your Toon Black Luster Soldier. Really good way to start opening the board up a bit. You've even got options for Toon Harpy Lady or Toon Ancient Gear Golem. So there's plenty of options there to go into. Next, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Toon Dark Magician. And I'll explain how to get all of these cards out very shortly, considering they are all level 7s. However, 3 copies is a must of this. You can discard 1 Toon card and add 1 Toon spell or trap to your hand, or you can special summon 1 Toon monster from the deck. However, Toon World or Toon Kingdom, which is Toon World whilst on the field, has to be on the field in the field zone to activate this effect. And again, it's a level 7, so 2 level 7s, you've got plenty of options in the extra deck, which we'll talk about shortly, in what you can go to pretty much. We'll come on to the spells after the monsters, but yep, must 3 of in the deck. And then this is one of the beat sticks for the deck, because this has got some good effects, and again, you can only activate them, not necessarily both effects, but the whole point of Toon cards and Toon decks is that you can attack your opponent directly if you control Toon Kingdom or Toon World whilst it's on the field. So the good thing about Toon Black Luster Soldier is that it allows you to tribute summon this by sending Toon monsters who are level 8 or higher from your hand or field to the graveyard. You can special summon this from your hand. It is classed as a ritual summon, believe it or not. However, you don't need any ritual monsters for this card, just a level 8 or higher Toon monster, and this is where Toon Ancient Gear Golem comes into play really nicely. So the effect of Toon Black Luster Soldier is that once per turn you can banish 1 card, I believe it is. Once per turn, if you control Toon World, you can target 1 card on the field and banish it. Also, this card cannot attack the turn it activated this effect. It's quite good because if you've got 2 on the field, it states this card, so not Toon Black Luster Soldier. So if you've got 2 on the field, you can banish either 2 cards, or you can banish 1 card and then attack with the other. And for 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense, it is definitely a beat stick. So next we play 2 copies of Toon Harpy Lady. Really good effect. Once you've got Toon World or Toon Kingdom on the field, you can actually special summon this card from your hand, so you don't even need to normal summon it. Then if you control another Toon monster, which 9 times out of 10 you are going to do, you can destroy 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. You can only use this once per turn. And again, whilst you control Toon World or Toon Kingdom, as we're going to come on to shortly, you can attack directly, but not the turn it's summoned. Unlike Black Luster Soldier, you can attack directly, or a monster the turn it's summoned, which is again why Black Luster Soldier or Toon Black Luster Soldier is a really good card to have. Next, we're going to play 1 copy of Toon Ancient Gear Golem. It's really easy to summon with the spell cards that we've got, or Dark Magician or Red Eyes Toon Dragon. Good effect of this is whilst you control Toon World, again, you can attack your opponent directly. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflicts piercing battle damage to your opponent, and also if this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step, which is really good because you are going to be able to do the damage and then they can play off whatever they want to play, Forbidden Drop, Play Triple Tactics, Talent, etc., but unaffected by spell and traps when it's battling, which is really good. So that's all of the Toon monsters that we've got. Now we're coming on over to the Fallen of the Albaz side of things, and this is really interesting because we're going to start off by playing 3 Fallen of the Albaz. Really good effect. You can discard a card from hand, fusion summon using this card, and a monster on the field. So this is where you will be nabbing your opponent's monsters, and it allows us to go into things like Albion or Rebellion, or potentially even Mirror Jade, which is a really strong suit. So we definitely play 3 of those in the deck. And also it's got some other effects with it when it pairs with the spell and trap cards that we're going to be coming on to very shortly. Next, we're going to play one copy of Albaz the Ashton. Albaz the Ashton is a really good card. It becomes Fallen the Albaz whilst on the field and in the graveyard. And then the effect of Fallen the Albaz is while a level 8 fusion monster is in your graveyard, this card gains 200 attack for each monster in your graveyard. So they can be the same name, they can be different names, it doesn't matter. Also, your opponent cannot target other monsters you control with card effects. If a monster/monsters you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, while this card and a fusion monster in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can use the effect of that once per turn. 1800 attack, so it's not too bad either. 0 defense, but it is also a level 4, so that does allow you to go into different things. Plus, whilst it's on the field or in the graveyard, it does become Fallen of the Albaz, so that allows you to go into your extra deck even more. Next, we are going to play one copy of Springin's Kit. Also a really good card, level 4. Pretty much the effect on this is if you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of the Albaz as material on your field or in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add to your hand one of your branded spell or traps, which we're going to come on to shortly, that is banished or in your deck or graveyard. So it's pretty much giving you full access to a branded spell or trap. Then you can place, then place one card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. You can only use this once per turn. So again, another level 4 to give us plenty of access into different options. And the last 3 cards, or last 3 monsters that we're going to play, should I say, is Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Really nice level 3 tuner. You can, when your opponent activates a effect, you can discard this card. When a monster on the field activates its effect, or when a spell/trap card that is already face up on the field activates its effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, destroy it. So it doesn't negate it, but it destroys it. So it's a good one to get rid of, so your opponent can't keep using the same effect. And then the final 2 cards, first one's Lava Golem. You contribute your opponent's monsters to summon this to their side of the field. You have to tribute 2 monsters they control. You cannot normal summon or set the turn. You special summon this card. Once per turn during your standby phase, the owner of this monster, so it would be your opponent, takes 1000 damage. So really good of slowly chipping away their life points. Plus it's 3000 attack, 2500 defense. So it's also got quite a hefty attack and defense on it, so it's not too bad. And then the final card we play, it's much like Lava Golem except a bit extended, Nibiru. So Nibiru, pretty much if your opponent summons 5 more times, so it will be special summoning 5 more monsters, you contribute all of their monsters they control, special summon this to your side of the field, and then give them a token. This token gains attack equal to all of the monsters' attack. However, we're going to show you how this comes into play very shortly. So onto the spells, we're going to start by playing 3 Toon Kingdoms. Really easy cards, it benefits the deck as well. It's a must-have 3 of in this deck, just because opponents can destroy this card, and if they do, then your monsters are endangered. But the effect of this card is you can set this card, and then you have to banish 3 cards from your deck face down. Pretty much all 2 monsters on the field are unaffected by card effects, and if they were to be destroyed by battle, you can banish one of your cards from your deck face down instead. Really good card to have. And then this sort of links onto Toon Bookmark. So Toon Bookmark pretty much gets you Toon Kingdom or Toon World out for free. And the good thing is if Toon Kingdom or Toon World would be destroyed, you can banish this from your graveyard instead. It allows you to get 1 Toon World or 1 card that mentions it from deck to your hand. So this actually plays really well with the other cards that we have. So coming on to Comic Hand. So this mentions Toon World, so you would be able to use Toon Bookmark in order to get that out. But Comic Hand is pretty much a free steal of your opponent's monster. So this is what we would use to gain back the Nibiru token or gain back Lava Golem if we wanted to. It is an equip, and the good thing about it is that it does become a Toon monster when it's played. So say your opponent special summons a monster or summons a monster, on your turn you can play this card, equip it to it, it becomes a Toon monster, and then Toon Kingdom's effect would kick in. Next, we play 3 copies of Toon Page Flip. So Toon Page Flip is a really good card to have. If you control Toon World, reveal 3 Toon monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one to special summon. Awesome, because we've got 3 copies of Magician, Red Eyes Black Dragon, and Black Luster Soldier. So we're pretty much getting one of those out for free. You can only activate one of these per turn though, so that is the downside. However, it is a quick play spell, so it is a good set as well. Must 3 of in the deck, just to help search out those monsters. Next we play 3 copies of Toon Table of Contents. Pretty much add 1 Toon card from your deck to your hand. Easy to gain access to Toon Page Flip, Toon Kingdom, Toon Bookmark. The way we play this deck is we want to have Toon Bookmark in the grave, so that if anything does happen to our Toon Kingdom, we can just banish it. So, really good card to get out either Toon Page Flip, Toon Kingdom, Toon Bookmark. The good thing about this card as well is it's not a once per turn, so this is why we play 3 av. Just making sure that you don't brick on the first turn. So that's all of the Toon spells. Now we come on to the form of the Albaz spells. So a must-have is Branded Fusion. So Branded Fusion pretty much allows you to summon a fusion monster from your extra deck by sending cards listed on it from your deck to the graveyard, which is really good when we come into Albion, because Albion pretty much allows us to fusion summon again once it's summoned by sending cards from the graveyard, hand or field to the banish zone. So we'd usually go from this into Albion to Lebellion. Lebellion is really good because that allows you to fusion summon by using monsters that are banished. So awesome sort of combo you can set up straight away. You would usually play 3 of these, however, because we're sort of doing a hybrid deck, we don't know if it's going to work or not. Only playing 2 for this one. So next we play 1 copy of Branded in White, 1 copy of Branded Bond. Branded White is much like Branded Fusion. You can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a dragon monster. So this is a really good card. Albaz is dragon. Albaz the Ashton is a dragon. Any of our fusion monsters that we've got on our extra deck is a dragon. However, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as material if you use Fallen of Albaz as fusion material from your hand, field, or by banishing it from your graveyard. So you'd have to banish Fallen of the Albaz from your graveyard to activate that effect. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there to activate the effect of Fallen the Albaz, you can set this card. So with the effect of Fallen the Albaz, if you use Albaz's effect to discard this card, you then can set it, and then you can just sort of recycle, which is really good. Branded Bond, sort of the same. Special summon one of your Fallen the Albaz that is banished in your hand or in your graveyard. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there to activate the effect of Fallen the Albaz, you can set this card. So moving on to the next card, we've got 1 Polarization and 1 Fusion Deployment. Pretty much gaining us access to monsters, well, Fusion Deployment anyway, from the deck that we need to go into our extra deck, which is really good. Or even monsters that we can sort of set up a combo with. Poly is just good to have there because it allows us to poly from field or hand, and then we can start going into combos again into our extra deck. Next, we play 1 copy of Monster Reborn. You're only allowed 1 of these in the deck anyway. It's a good card to get anything back from your opponent's graveyard or your graveyard if you want to set up for combos. Always run one of these in the deck unless your monsters state that they have sort of Monster Reborn effects. Next, we're going to play 1 copy of Forbidden Droplet and 1 copy of Dark Ruler No More. Forbidden Droplet's a really good card. It's a quick play card. It negates the effects of one of the monsters on the field by sending a monster, a spell, or a trap to your graveyard from your hand or field, I believe. Your opponent cannot activate effects with the card sent. So you could send a monster, a trap, and a spell card. Your opponent would not be able to negate this card's effect. Your monster, the opponent's monster's effects are negated. Also, its attacks cut in half. Really, really strong card to have in the deck. Definitely a must. Dark Ruler No More. Not a quick play, unfortunately. Would be a bit OP if it was. Negates the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. This can't be negated. So that's really good if you come up against things like Dragoon. We play against a lot of Cyber Dragon decks. So Cyber Dragon Infinity. Or, for example, Mirror Jade, where it can just banish. Baron de Fleur. All these, Dark Ruler No More, definitely a one-of in the deck. Next, we play 1 copy of Terraforming. Pretty much allows you to add a field spell from your deck to your hand, so that works really well with Toon Kingdom. No graveyard effects, but it just gets you that Toon Kingdom out if you need to have it there. Next, we play one copy of Call by the Grave. So, awesome card to have. Negates the Ash, negates any of the zombie tuners. Really good card. It banishes it, and if if your opponent controls any monsters with the same banish that you banish, their effects are negated. Next, we play one copy of Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance, really good card. It allows you to banish 10 cards from 3 to 6 cards face down from your extra deck and draw 2 cards for that many sent. So if you send 6 cards, you can draw 2. If you send 3 cards, you can draw 1 card. Really good 1 card to have in the deck. Now we come on to the traps. So we're going to play 2 copies of Toon Terror. So Toon Terror, when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, whilst you control both Toon World and a Toon monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only activate one of these per turn, but it's a good card to have. It's pretty much a solemn judgment for the Toon deck without paying life points. Next, we play one copy of Evenly Matched. Really good card to have. You can activate this from your hand at the end of the battle phase on your or your opponent's turn if you control no face-up monsters. Definitely, I'd recommend usually playing 2 of these. However, because the deck is pretty hefty already, we're only going to play 1. Screams of the Branded is our next one. So if a fusion monster is sent to the graveyard this turn, special summon one of your fusion monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there to activate the effect of Fallen the Albaz, you can set this card. You can only activate one of those once per turn, but a good card to have in there. Judgment of the Branded is our next card. So target 1 level 8 or higher fusion monster you control. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with an equal or higher attack than that monster. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard, to activate the effect of Fallen the Albaz, you can set it. So again, you can recycle that quite nicely if you choose to discard that from Fallen the Albaz. Finally, we play 1 copy of Dogmatic Punishment. So effect of this is you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, send 1 monster with an equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that monster. Until the end of your next turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. Really good card to have. Interruption, really nice card. You can't recycle it, however, good card to have in the deck. So now we move on to the extra deck, and we are playing a full 15 in the extra deck. First, we start with Relinquished Anima. 1 level 1 monster, accept a token. So this is quite nice. For example, we will only really play this if we use quick Comic Hand on an opponent's monster, because we do not have any level 1s in the deck. It's just a good card. Pretty much when you summon this card, you can, depends what link zone it's in, but you can target 1 monster that this card points to, attach it to a material, and it gains its attack. It is a link 1, so you can sort of go into link 2 plays. However, we are only running this 1 low level link monster. We are running Phoenix and Unicorn in the deck as well, so that sort of allows you to keep comboing off different cards. Next, we're going to play Chimeratek Mega Fleet Dragon. 1 Cyber Dragon monster plus 1 monster in the extra monster zone. So like I said, I've only put this in there because we're playing against a lot of Cyber Dragon decks currently. Good thing about this is because it states it must be special summoned from the extra deck by sending the above cards from either side of the field to the graveyard. The original attack of this card becomes 1200 times the number of materials used for its special summon. So you can actually use 1 Cyber Dragon monster, that's a must, plus 1 or more monsters in the extra monster zone. And we play 2 of those. Also, we have stacked the extra deck out because we are playing Pot of Extravagance. So we need to make sure that we have enough material in the extra deck if we need to activate that effect. The next 2 cards we play is Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Unicorn. A lot of people are playing these cards at the moment. Nightmare Phoenix's effect, 2 monsters with different names. It is a link 2. So if this card is link summoned, you can discard a card, then target 1 spell trap your opponent controls and destroy it. Then if this card was co-linked, so you'd usually co-link it with Unicorn, or let's say Relinquished, depends which one you get out first, you can draw 1 card. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. Co-link monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Same effect as Unicorn, however, Unicorn effect is if this card is link summoned, you can discard a card and target 1 card on the field, shuffle it into the deck, and then so on with the co-link. So really good cards to have. Attack's not too bad either. 1900 on Phoenix, 2200 on Unicorn. Next, we play 1 copy of Cyber/Harpy Lady. So Really good card to have. You can use 2 Harpy Ladies to summon this. You can use 1 Harpy Lady as a tuner. When this card is synchro summoned, the effect of this is when a spell or trap card or effect is activated, except during the damage step, quick effect, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls or 1 Harpy monster you control, return it to the hand. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. However, it is a level 8, so that does open more sort of options for the extra deck, which I'll come on to again shortly. Next, we play 1 copy of Dingrisu, the Orcust of the Evening Star. So 2 level 8 monsters. Easy enough to get because we've got level 8 fusion monsters, which we're going to come on to in a minute. We've got Black Luster Soldier, we've got Ancient Gear Golem, so we can get this card out. So pretty much you can also special summon this by using an Orcust Link monster you control as material. If a card you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach 1 material from this card instead. If this card is special summoned, you can activate 1 of these effects. Send 1 card your opponent controls to the graveyard, or attach 1 of your banished machine monsters to this card as material. So again, because we play Mega Fleet Fortress Dragon, it is a machine. If we do banish that, we can get this out and attach it to it as material. It's got 2600 attack, so it's not too bad either. However, we've probably got that in there mainly for the first effect. We'll see how it plays. The next monster, the last XYZ, is number 11, Big Eye. So it requires 2 level 7 monsters. We've got Red Eyes for that. Once per turn, you can detach material from this and then take control of 1 of your opponent's monsters. This monster can't attack the turn that his effect is activated. So now we come on to the Albaz fusion monsters. We've got to start with Albion, so really easy to get out. 1 light monster and form of the Albaz. Once this is summoned, you can, is it discard a card? I don't think it is. If this card is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except this card, by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it from your hand, field and or graveyard, which is good because it works really well with branded fusion or poly. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or set 1 branded spell or trap directly from your deck. So a really good card that pretty much puts us straight into Lebellion, which allows you to fusion summon again using monsters from extra deck. So yeah, special summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except this card, by shuffling materials mentioned on it into the deck from your monsters on the field, graveyard and or face up banished cards. For the rest of this turn, this card cannot attack. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters, which is fine because those two sort of link up to play into Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade really good. Fallen the Albaz plus 1 fusion synchro XYZ link or link monster. You can only control 1 of these cards. Once per turn, quick effect. You can send 1 fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. Then target, graveyard that mentions Fallen the Albaz as material, banish 1 monster on the field. Also, this card cannot use this effect next turn, so you've got to wait a turn before you use it again. If this fusion summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can destroy all monsters. So you do have to declare that. But it's just a beat stick as well with 3000 attack, 2500 defense. Really good card to go into. Next, we don't really know about these last 3 cards. We've got Brigand the Glory Dragon, Titaniclad the Ash Dragon, we've got Sprind the Iron Dash Dragon, and then we've got Rindbrum the Striking Dragon. So we're going to go through all of these one by one, starting with Brigand the Glory Dragon. So Fallen the Albaz, 1 level 8 or higher monster, can't be destroyed by battle, and whilst you control this fusion card or fusion summon card, your opponent cannot target other monsters you control with monster effects. So they can destroy them, but they can't target them, and you can't destroy this, but you can target this, which is quite good. It sort of helps out. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Tri-Brigade monster or 1 Fallen the Albaz from your deck. Really good, because when Fallen the Albaz is summoned, it does allow you to do things. However, it wouldn't kick in because it wouldn't be your turn. However, Fallen the Albaz, really good card as we know. That's why we play 3 of it. But yeah, that's Brigand the Glory Dragon. Moving on to Titaniclad. So this requires 1 Fallen the Albaz, 1 monster with 2500 or more attack. So it gains attack equal to the combined original levels of monsters used for its fusion summon times 100. So you would usually use 2 monsters, Fall in the Albaz level 4, usually a level 8 monster, so level 12, so it gains 1,200 attack, which would put it to 3,700. So after this card is fusion summoned for the rest of this turn, it is unaffected by the activated effects of any other monsters special summoned from the extra deck. And during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Dogmatic monster or 1 Fallen of Albaz from your deck. So also a good card to have. So next we've got Sprind the Iron Dash Dragon. Fallen of the Albaz plus 1 effect monster special summoned this turn. They are the summoning conditions. Or requirement, should I say. During your main phase, you can move this card you control to another of your main monster zones. Then you can destroy all of the face-up cards in this card's column. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent this turn, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Springans or 1 Fallen of the Albaz monster from your deck. So they sort of all have the same similar effects, using different monsters. So you got Springans, what was it? Springans, Dogmatica, and I can't remember the other one, Tri-Brigade I think it was. And then finally the last fusion monster we got is Rinbrum the Striking Dragon. So Fallen of the Albaz plus 1 Beast, Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster. When a fusion, synchro, XYZ or link monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate that effect, then you can return 1 monster from the field to the hand. During your opponent's turn, while this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target 1 Fallen of the Albaz in your graveyard, special summon either that monster or this card, and banish the other. Awesome card, because that works really well for Harpy ladies, and it's just playing around the deck. But that's our Toon Monster Albaz deck. We're definitely going to give it a go and see how it runs. But apart from that, guys, thanks for watching this, I say short vid, long vid, in-depth one, and let us know what you want to see.